Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
Oh my god! Oh my god, yes!
Put the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterward.
And Wash is down 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire.
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
100 gets 3 with the primal rage.
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, Tranquility fans, and welcome to our Wednesday night Transcendence tier featured match. Those playing right now, we hope your games are going well tonight, but we also thank you for tuning into this match as we head to the top of the mountain here in Tranquility. Two teams looking to continue to ascend their way to the top of the Transcendence tier rankings. We bring you Carnage, sitting at 3-0, looking to continue their domination of all competition this season. And they are taking on the Billings Boomers, who joined the season after week 1. So far, run up that 2-1 record. I am Mr. Yeti, and joining me tonight is somebody making their Tranquility casting debut, and that's Jace. Welcome, Jace. How you doing?
Hello. Yo, not doing too bad. I am new to Tranquility. Some of you in the chat, or some of them in the lobby, may have seen me around. I was recently on the Mayhem Winter Classic, and I've been very busy with BPL over. It is quite late in the evening, so I apologize for the no-cam gamers and prod, but yeah, nonetheless, it isn't about me, it's about Overwatch. We've got 2 of the best teams in one of the highest divisions in the Tranquility tier. That much I do know. And looks like we've got next map is going to be, first map actually is going to be Busan. I always say, Yeti, Busan is a litmus test for teams. This is Carnage versus Boomers, as you said. This is 2 of the best teams in this division. Busan, we're going to get a real good feel for how these teams compete, how they're able to close out fights, because I always say, as I said, Busan, if it's very one-sided, we could expect to see potentially a speeder from one of these teams. It's just what I've found from casting Busan. Yeah, real litmus test.
And Busan is nice because you can run a variety of different comps.
Yeah.
It's not just necessarily, it doesn't play like Lijiang. Oftentimes Lijiang just turns into the big brawl fest on Control Center. Then you get Gardens where you see usually the rush of some kind, or occasionally you'll see the Symmetra TP to window. But, comps tend to be relatively set in stone for a map like that. With Busan, you get a little bit of variety. Sure, you have Mecha Base. Mecha Base is the brawl of all brawl maps, but we see a nice variety here, and that's part of the reason why Busan can also be a good test for these teams, really testing their versatility in their compositions. So, but it looks like right now, Jace, both teams are ready, and I believe we're going to be heading in. I believe they're ready, actually, last I checked, but we're going to be heading in here pretty soon. Now, again, so this is the first time you have casted a Tranquility match, but you've done a lot of other work, right? You've said you've been with BPL, and then you also just did the Mayhem Winter Classic, right?
Yes, I did. That was a lot of fun. I managed to cast the youngling birds of Redbird Esports, obviously the flock of American Tornado. As I said in the intro, they've all gone off to Overwatch League now. Got to cast the rest. They were led by Gig, I believe, ex-Overwatch Gig, back on the LA Valiant, back when being on the LA Valiant wasn't an insult. So, yeah, Gig, really good job with leading some of the younger players. Their DPS line in particular was just nasty. I think we managed to. Did we cast Busan? I think we did cast Busan actually. So it should be interesting to see how they can live up to. Someone I'm looking to see how they do is Chief. I've played against Chief in BBL. Played against him in a couple of scrims, and he's a decent friend of mine. Friends of people I know as well. So I know for a fact he can play a variety of heroes. So he should have no problem with the team that he's looking to slot into. And as he pulls out the Ash, he's probably going to get a Mercy Pocket if it gets a little bit deep going later into the fights. But for now, like, very standard comp from both teams. It's going to be 6-man versus Ball as we roll out.
Yeah, Chief is a familiar name to a lot of Tranquility members here because Chief actually last season in our event week, which is just coming up, he won 3 of the 4 individual hero tournaments, which was just incredible. Just an incredible, unprecedented performance from Chief. But we're underway here. Again, we have the Ball composition versus the Rush composition. 2 different looks from these teams right now, as it looks like early on, Carnage is going to establish a presence on the point. We see the Dynamite in from Chief, not finding any targets here, as Dabmaster looks to get in there and get a hack off. He's spotted out right away, but he does get the hack on the Sigma. But he pays the price quickly as Midnight finishes him off. Kills are trading out right now, but it does look like Carnage is actually going to be able to turn this around. Despite losing the early control here, Jace, it looks like Carnage is going to take this first fight.
Yep, Reaper Gap. Gap on Reaper. I'm probably not going to try and force that pun too many times the rest of the series, but Dabmaster makes the wrong decision with his gun, but he makes the right decision with the hack. They just run straight onto the Sigma. And I mean, Sigma in this comp is the only reliable, consistent space you get with that board composition. Once those cooldowns go down, no shield, no grasp, you are dead. You are sent back into orbit, back in your gravity time chamber, and back to the spawn room. The rest of the 6-man, Ravage and Gap, Apollo just collapse on that Sigma, sent him packing in from there. I mean, like, if you don't kill the Reaper, it's just going to be a free fight win. This puts Carnage in such a good position now. They're going to have Cole to snowball into an EMP, and already I'm looking at the composition changes that the Boomers are making, and going over to the Orisa and Break, I like it.
I like the choice as well. That's the wise choice. They also brought in the Cassidy as well, mix things up a little bit and give them a little bit more ability to close the door on some of those early kills here against this Rush comp. As Kip uses the Coalescence to push through for Carnage, and Kip is wreaking havoc in the back through all of the Billings Boomers. And despite a kill for Midnight, that's going to be it for Billings Boomers here. And Carnage continues that, and they're up to 53% counting, Jace.
Yeah, really quick fight. In case anyone needs to know, Kip is slang in English in the UK for sleep. And, well, he put all of them to sleep. Such a quick coalescence. It was a fight they were always going to win because of the advantage they got from capping the point. That's just standard control stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's the fight. The Boomers have to get themselves back into it. They've got a Flux and Bob combo, and what does it mean with the Bob? Well, it's not going to be the best to combo with the Flux, but they can send it to point. As I say that, Apollo puts a bomb over the top, does find the all-important Orisa. Great pick from Apollo.
Nunu Park is taken down. Unfortunate for Billings Boomers, and they're already going to be back on their heels again. They do invest the Gravitic Flux from Midnight, as Midnight finds Sia, and Gap down as well now, so it looks like Billings Boomers might be able to turn this fight around as Tamori continuing to put out damage on this Cassidy. Great shots there. Finds Kip, not missing a shot on the Kip there. Shots continuing to find their targets as he takes down Apollo as well. And there goes Midnight. So this is a fight looks like Billings Boomers are going to take. Despite it reaching 99% for Carnage, it looks like Boomers are going to come back to this. And Jace, they have a lot of ults coming back here as well.
They do. They're going to have some difficult ults to go against too, and I'm looking to the defensive side. They finally managed to crack the egg. They've got themselves on the point. They've got the off-angles ready to go, but Dabmaster66, great name by the way, has the EMP. Can't use those ultimates if you get EMP'd. So now for Carnage, they need to take their time. They need to find these supports. If they EMP both, Carnage are just going to collapse on the Brig and the Bat, and it's probably game over.
You see Dabmaster looking to get into position here. The point is surrendered by the Billings Boomers. Unfortunate, but here come the ultimates. A good EMP from Dabmaster, but it does look like right now it's still kind of balanced out. The Boomers were able to hold off there. That was a really well done rally there from Mushroom. Absolutely. Yeah, Dabmaster's... Yeah, it's just unfortunately that that Brigida play, or the support play from the Boomers, just able to buy just that little bit of extra time there.
Yeah, the rally was actually so important there. You put armor on, and your biggest damage source from this 6-man composition is the Reaper, a shotgun character which historically just suck against armor. So being able to give everyone that rally just as a collapse came in from the EMP meant they could kite long enough to get their cooldowns back, and from there they just walked to point and lived. There was nothing that they could really do. Now 65-70% is sort of scary angle for this 99% for Carnage here. They need to make swaps. It's going to cost them 1 or 2 fights to do it. They should just get run over by the amount of spam damage that the Boomers have got. Here we go. Oh, that's a great pick onto Mushroom though.
Really well done from Dabmaster there. The full switch to the Brawl composition. We see the bongos put in by Nunu Park, but they get taken down immediately by Dabmaster here. Bob is in play now from Chief, but Bob is away now as well. Well handled there by by Carnage. Dabmaster does find another stun on the Nunu Park, and Nunu Park is taken down with that May wall behind them here as Carnage switches to the Brawl and runs it effectively so far. But the Gravitic Flux is now in for Midnight as we are at last fight, and Tamori finds 2. Calls out for the Deadeye, does not find anybody, but the kills are coming in now for the Billings Boomers. And despite that strong start from Carnage, it looks like the Boomers are going to be able to take this one here.
Yeah.
Impressive from them. Impressive from the Boomers.
Really nice play. Tamori finds a clutch at the end. Chief is popping heads on map. Silvertals and Mushroom went Brigand Bap, and that's just an unkillable support line even against an EMP. So great work, great composure, actually, from the Billings Boomers. It's not something that I see much at this level around this SR, this sort of mid-masters, low GM SR, if I am correct in the tier, which I actually think I am. Okay, perfect, thank you. Word in ear from Prod that I was in the right tier. Good. I don't look like a complete fool on stream who has not done his research. But nonetheless, as I said, composure at this level is easy to lose. It's quite easy to snowball. You can get staggered. Even some of the most basic mistakes can bleed into this level. It's really important that you eliminate them. What I think happened there is so much good ultimate usage. Like, once they'd flipped the point, they knew which fights they were going and which combos they were going to use, did the Billings Boomers, and it just came across as so composed, so calm, and they were able to win the fight and ultimately the round because of it. 3 really difficult fights there. They just turned on the head and managed to win. As I say that, I've cursed it. Tamori gets picked, hits on the Doom and dies.
The caster curse is real for Tamori. Get caught out, but we see the Brawl coming at you now. And with Ravage going down now for Carnage, it's going to put Carnage on their heels. No main tank. And here comes the aggression from Nunu Park, taken extremely low, but the wall actually kind of helped him out there a little bit, got him away from the damage well enough to keep him up. He does. We see the Earth Shatter and the window now at the same time. It's going to force them around the corner. Carnage is completely on their heels as the Boomers continue to apply pressure, but here comes the additional amplification matrix now from Silvertails as Apollo finds Mushroom. Oh, but a huge Earth Shatter from Nunu Park, and that's going to spell the end here, it looks like, finally for Carnage, and it looks like the Boomers are going to take point A. A bomb comes in here from Apollo. Maybe a little bit uncalled for here, Jace?
Hello, sorry. Small mic issue. Yeah. No, that should be fixed for the rest of the series. Now that's all good. Apologies, did not check my mic before we came on. But nonetheless, 24-25%. Great position. They get the hold, and now they have to rotate into the Symmetra. So this may though is probably going to be a good way to come back into the fight for Carnage.
That's that Dabmaster's a great way. It's a great way to swing it back into the fight when you just find 2 with a Deadeye, isn't it? So the Deadeye comes in from Dabmaster, takes out 2. He finds Tamori with the 3rd, and that's going to be enough as Dabmaster leads the charge there for Carnage. But Chief is doing Chief things. Chief is doing things.
Kill Chief challenge impossible. He gets 4. He gets 4.
Inexplicably, the Billings Boomers somehow, I don't know if did Carnage just get disorganized there, Jace, or what?
They just ran at the sim 1 by 1. They were lemmings. They weren't even on the Lost Ark 2 by 2. They were 1 by 1. They ran at a full charge sim, and they just died to him every time. Great clutch from Chief.
Oh, Nunu Park gets spotted! Dabmaster! Oh, that's so unfortunate. The cheekiness of Nunu Park to even think of trying to pull off that flank shatter. Absolutely punished by Dabmaster there. Unbelievable play from Dabmaster. I can't believe I've complimented him this many times. He's going to light me up in the Discord for that. But unbelievable play from Dabmaster there, and it's going to set up the Carnage now to take this one here. Jace, I'm at a loss for words with what I just saw.
We've seen the full thralls of NA Ego there. That's 0 to that's 100 to 0 so quick. We saw Chief kill 4. They ran at him 1 by 1. Then his main tank Nunu decides to hide in the corner for a shatter, gets flashed, dies, and then they lose the fight because of it. They stole the fight away and they enter the fight generously to the opposition. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But nonetheless, that's such a good hold. It's such a good hold from 87% on the board. Yeti, like, they're chilling. They'll get ults and they'll probably look for a 60% fight with 4 or 5 ults ready to go.
Now we have Nunu Park's failed shatter. We're going to see if we can get a return shatter here from Ravage, but we don't need it because there's just a Blizzard and a fantastic one from Gap. They don't even need to burn another ult, and it's just going to be a quick one here for Carnage.
You really love to see it if you're a Brawl player, if you're a Carnage fan, if you're a Carnage player. They use literally just the Blizzard and they win the fight. Blizzard, the most important ultimate in the Brawl mirror, which is now taking place. The May gap is going to be so big. Now they have to rotate into these ice walls. They've got to do it quick. They've got the defensive resources and the TP to cover and quickly get across these chokes. But even still, this May is going to be a She-Banshee. It's going to be an Ice Devil for
the wall. The wall, unfortunately, not getting a great amount of value there, but Ravage got an immense amount of value there with that Earth Shatter, and it's going to light it up here for Carnage. Again, the bomb used to get back in the mech by Apollo, but again, another fight win for Carnage, and we're looking at last fight more than likely already here.
Yeah, they used a couple more resources, but really that was the Shatter that clutched it out. So some great play from Ravage and Gap. Really just get their team back into it. Two important fights that they have to win, right? It's 87% on the board. Now it's ticking up to 80. Again, they have to rotate into it, and they've got a defensive resource to go for Sia. So honestly, I think with this defensive hold, great position now for Carnage to be in.
A sound barrier now for Sia is going to be the critical ultimate, and there it is. It's invested as Tamori, looking for somebody with that Deadeye, not finding any target here. Chief looking to spin up that damage on the Symmetra, but the Earth Shatter is big from Nunu Park, finds critical targets as Chief goes ham and finishes them off here, and that's going to be a Billings Boomers fight win. But it does look like that we are going to get one final fight here for Carnage. It looks like they will have one more quick opportunity to get back to the point.
They will. I think Sia needs to Lucio roll out this. I actually don't think they can touch. I think they should have the spawn doors locked up. This Reinhardt, yeah, he slams Earth Shatter down. It's a nice knock.
Oh, just
great touch from Sia.
And look, and they got 2 kills. The overextension, the absolute overextension for the Billings Boomers is being punished.
No way.
Unbelievable. That was their match. All they needed to do was not overextend there, Jace. They just gave a little too much. And the big rollout from Sia locks it up somehow, despite everything. Carnage is able to win that one.
Why do you not just like stay on the point? They are walking themselves off the plank. They have to come barreling off that high ground
one by one.
You have Boop from Mushroom, you have Boop from Midnight, you have Swing from Reinhardt, which can displace someone enough to throw off their momentum and therefore stop any speed boost that they are getting. And they let them touch, and honestly, they get punished for it, so deserved. Now, we're going to be going down to 1-1. It's downtown. Both teams know it's an absolute 6-man angle for this map. There is the only competition you can play on this map. Everyone in BPL swears by 6-man on this map. The health packs, the situation of the point, just too strong overall. This is sort of the standard, the favorite comp. So it's just going to see about health pack Dream, and honestly, which Sombra can get to the EMP first or land the all-important crucial pack.
And it does look like Dabmaster gets there just before Tamori here. It's going to be a really important hack for Dabmaster. It's going to set up Carnage really nicely. Looks like Boomers are going to rotate back to point and continue to try to hold off there. Getting away from that Mega Pack is the wise choice as Dabmaster beats a hack from Tamori. The dive in from Nunu Park, trying to put out some damage and cleave their way through that mirror comp. Does not find any targets, but Gap finishes off Silvertails. And that is a great start here for Carnage. Despite losing the point, they find Nunu Park as well. But the kills are actually trading right now here, Jace. And it does look like with the trades, it looks like it's slowly working out in the favor of the Billings Boomers.
I thought so. I actually wasn't too upset with how Carnage had played that fight. They give and take, but they killed the Moira of Silvertools, and you lose basically all you're sustaining that composition when Silvertools on that Moira falls down. So much burst healing. I mean, I'd say it's burst. That implies a short amount. Moira can heal forever these days with that upkeep retention. But they give away so much now. They give over ult percentage. They give over health pack control. They give over ultimate charge. They give over positional advantage. Just that small little mistake. Gap was unable to find the second pick onto that support to really secure them the fight, and they get punished now. It's a great EMP.
It's a great EMP. Finds 3, including the Lucio with the sound barrier as Chief takes out both Kip and Gap, and Chief finds a third. That's 3 for Chief, and the Billings Boomers are 50% and counting their way here through Busan.
Yep, really well practiced. That was just an EMP combo. There was nothing more in the comms for Billings Boomers there than EMP Blossom. Yeah, let's go for it. They hit the 6, the 5-man, and then they do it. And as I say that, Tamori gets picked off. A great opportunity for Carnage to come back into this.
And here we go. There's a bomb is put in by Midnight, not finding anything. The kills are finally going the way of Carnage here. Gap finds a third, taking down Chief as well, and Gap finds a third there for Carnage, and Carnage will get this one turned around at 79%, and that's about about as good of a fight as you can ask for Carnage there.
Yeah, Dap has been doing work on the Reaper this series for Carnage, absolutely. Now that Dabmaster has the EMP in hand, it's going to get better for him because, I mean, Reaper naturally countered by cooldowns and the ability to kite. But guess what? EMP, no cooldowns. So if Dab can land a fat EMP, particularly on both supports, then Dap is just going to run them over.
And he finds
good
only
hide
one
from
Mushroom. Fantastic play from Mushroom. Leaping to the rescue with that sound barrier. Gapped with the ultimate, not able to burn their way through the sound barrier. And Silvertall's now looking to turn it with this Coalescence, burning their way through Kip's HP, and that's going to spell the end here for Carnage in this fight. It looks like one by one they will fall to the Billings Boomers, and they hold it now with 80% counting here. It is running up to the final bit here.
They have EMP as well. This ultimate, this EMP, these Coalescence, they're so important in this competition, in this mirror match. That now it's 90%. They have to rotate to the point into the EMP. Tamori goes early, actually. Don't think the rest of his team were ready for it. Chief gets hacked and Chief dies.
Oh no!
Oh, it's a colossal throw.
They got a touch. Can anybody touch? Oh, they just barely get there in time here, Jace. But what a critical misplay from Tamori, and it's going to allow Carnage, it looks like, pretty easily to win this fight.
Yeah, this is something that I was literally about to talk to you in reference to Dabmaster, and Tamori does it as well. Both Sombras rush their EMP there. They don't go for the optimal EMP, they don't think about the optimal targets and the ultimates that come in. So a little bit of a lack in ult tracking perhaps, or just a little bit of rush and wanting to play at a too high tempo. Both teams were not ready for their EMP. They rushed in, they knew they had to make advantage of it. There was a small window and they end up dying and forcing valuable cooldowns because of it. Dap, no, you cannot be there. You don't have race form.
That's unfortunate. The EMP though is massive from Dabmaster with the bomb coming in from Apollo. What a combo from Carnage. They're burning everything though here, Jace, in order to hold this one. I mean, you got to recognize that you're down there and you got to try to turn that fight around, but still, this is a tough situation right now for Carnage. You have that sound barrier though, so this is really close here, Jace. It could go either way.
It could go either way. The important thing is that they don't have to immediately go up into an EMP. They've got a sound barrier. It's going to be last fight pretty much of the entire map. It's going to be Coalescence against the beat. These are the important ultimates coming out. I mean, that Coalescence means that the Boomers can go first.
A bomb is put in by Midnight. Self-destruct, not finding anything. Silvertall's with the Coalescence. Did not kill anybody, but a sound barrier is now in from Sia. It does find a few of his teammates, but it's not going to be enough, it looks like, here for Carnage as they're trying to hang on. Dabmaster, pardon me, is fallen here, but it looks like the rest of the Boomers, EMP maybe from Tamori. I don't even know if it's going to be needed at this point. Carnage is kind of slowly but surely staggering in, but it looks like the Billings Boomers, despite a couple of misplays, are gonna finally finish this one off here, and the stagger's still coming, but Carnage will fall and the Billings Boomers will take Busan.
It was a little bit shaky, particularly towards the end. I think they should have wrapped that one up probably on mecha base, but they let them touch, and I mean, golden opportunity. Billings Boomers go up 1-0. They played very, very well, in particular with some of these ultimate managements. That two-man EMP Blossom combo at the start of the fight on that last point of downtown was so good. Like, they just knew the win condition that was there. They executed it so quickly, it sent them all back to spawn, gave them so much breathing room to be able to allow the Sombra to take resources, take the health pack, scout the comp, scout swaps, get some poke damage in, and hyper accelerate towards another EMP. I think it's a little bit unfortunate. I assume that Sia hid in that last fight, assuming that the Sombra of Billings Boomers, Tamori, there we go, had the EMP. Unfortunately, it's the cat and mouse game that happens with Sombra and Lucio, ladies and gentlemen. You hide, thinking they've got EMP. If they don't, well, the Sombra is just going to front to back your whole team, and your Lucio is going to be hiding, well, just in the closet, going to be hiding somewhere in the back, in the dark alleyways, in the abyss, and going to watch the rest of his team slowly down the kill feed and understands that he needs to join the fight. By the time Sia joined the fight, he'd already sussed out that the Sombra EMP wasn't coming down. Why? Because the rest of Billings, all 6 of them, had just crashed into his team and killed the 5. They got in 2 or 3 picks. Sia came in too late. The beat could not save them, and they get punished. So honestly, unlucky read, because you always have to assume that the Sombra does have the EMP. But in this case, it's one of those where it just looks so grief, right? To hide in the back, because you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're AFK. But like, he has to do that.
Right.
Really hard cat and mouse game, and you don't win either way if you're Sia in that case.
Exactly.
It's a gamble, it's a coin flip, and then there you go. He loses the coin flip, Billings Boomers go 1-up.
These things happen. It's the danger. It's the risk of that. Like you said, it's the cat and mouse game. Who comes out on top? Yeah. You know, there's really, the unfortunate thing is there's almost never a good decision. sometimes you're just punished either way, and that's all you could. You just try to make your best call you can, and unfortunate for Sia, just did not make the right call. But it happens. It happens to the best Lucios out there. So. But unfortunate for Carnage. But I will say that was a very, very tight competition on map 1. I think we are looking at a heck of a match coming up here. If the competition's going to be this tight the rest of the way, I can't imagine we're going to see a one-sided affair. But the Billings Boomers get off to that 1-0 start as teams are getting ready here, getting some substitutions in as we get set up for our next map, which is Assault, everybody's favorite, now very soon to be going away. Game
I hate 2CP.
You are not alone, and I think most people hate it. The only person I know who likes it is one of the Trank admins, NPC, and I don't understand. He also likes Dallas Fuel.
Understandable. My take on DCPs, I actually put this out on Twitter a couple of days ago. JSPT_ if anyone wants to follow, I might as well plug it. For the full take exclusively only. Some of the maps in 2CP, I will admit, actually are visually stunning, as are most of the maps in Overwatch. But the gameplay is just, it's so degenerate and it's so badly designed. Overwatch is a game about flows, about ebbs, about backward and forward, about trading and trade-offs. But there is no trade-off in TPing to point A, winning, charging your ultimates off, winning that fight, going to point B, pressing Q, killing them, and then just capping. Like, where is the counterplay from just them having 3 or 4 ultimates that you don't have because you lost the fight, and you lose one fight, and then therefore you give up an entire point, you give up 50% of the map. On the flip side as well, there are some points in 2CP that I genuinely believe it's not even like copium level tinfoil hat design sort of conspiracy stuff. There are some points you're just not meant to cap. Anubis B, you have to team wipe them, and even then they all respawn as a team with their ultimates. So the game mode is just fundamentally broken. I hate it, and I can't wait to see it die.
I think I'm in the same boat, and I'm excited for Push. Push looks like fun. I think that looks like a really interesting game mode. I mean, it brings me back to like Payload Race back in the day, and or neutral payload maps on Team Fortress 2. You know,
5CP is that then? I think that's the name.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I referred to it 5CP. Yeah.
Exactly. I like those maps were interesting to me. They've just played in such a unique way, and I kind of love that style. And to me, I think it's more suited to Overwatch's style, like you said. It's the give and take, the ebb and flow. I think we're going to actually see that with that game type. So I'm excited to see how that does end up going through. But right now, it looks like we have a couple players who had to step away for a brief period of time there while we're getting in and going here with this one. But 2CP, I will say, despite it, I have to say they do have my favorite artistically designed maps. Hanamura is incredible. Yeah. I truly will miss Hanamura just for the art design. And I am silver, so my feelings on map design are irrelevant because we're all bad. But being real. But the look of, and my favorite design map ever, or my favorite artistically designed map ever, is Paris. And we won't.
It's a stunning map. I agree. The map is so good. It's just horribly designed.
It's terrible.
Artistically, it's amazing. Yeah, I agree.
So bad. And it got removed. It got completely removed from the game. You can only play it in customs now, and I think that's
sad.
It's sad, but it kind of just it makes me happy in a way to realize that the Blizzard dev team was probably all at once. They're sitting there trying to find ways to make the map work, and they're like, you know what? Screw it. Just scrap the damn thing. We don't need it anymore. Literally, we're not even following this. We're not even going to have this map in the next game. Who cares?
I think that's fair enough. I would love for them to remove 2CP from comp. Again, it's something that I could rant on about for ages because it's not useful. If people are streaming on Overwatch 1, people are streaming on Overwatch 2. I assume people streaming on Overwatch 2 currently aren't actually playing 2CP, in which case that would be a waste. But any 2CP involvement in Overwatch 1 is useless, essentially. But nonetheless, I guess it's good to enjoy the mode as it goes out. There are some lunatics who enjoy the mode. There are some psychos that enjoy just getting snowballed on point A and getting ulted on point B. Just NPC. I think Ducks in the tier below as well. Ducks from the Drake's team in the tier below this one, the Tranquility tournament does enjoy TCP as well.
I feel like that explains a lot about ducks, if I'm being honest. Just really quick here, while this delays on going here, it looks like they have a couple players just waiting to come back here. They chose Hanamura for the map. We do have a couple Tranquility matches that actually did go to a final here, so I'll just kind of mention those scores on the side. Also in the Transcendence tier, we had Vengeance taking on Battalion. Vengeance, of course, was 0-3 coming into the match, and they did unfortunately drop to Battalion, who is now 3-1 after their win here. They won that match 4-0. Going down to the Discord tier, it looks like we have one final there as well that we can confirm. That's Domination, who has now moved up to 3-1 record with a 4-0 win over Monarch, Monarch is currently sitting at 0-4. And then down to the Harmony tier as well. We saw the Galactic Penguins, your preseason champions, move up to a 3-1 record as they took down a 3.5. That was with a 4-0 score. 3.5, unfortunately, as well, looking at a 0-4 record. But it looks like Hanamura is the map choice here, Jace. And how do you feel about Hanamura? I think if there's any 2CP map that's semi-tolerable, I feel like this is the map.
Unfortunately, I am the opposite. I think
really?
I think this is the worst DCP map in the game.
Oh, no.
Because of the angle at which, in particular, this point B is designed, which is, as I said many a time, and I absolutely agree, stunning. Like, the visual, the aesthetic in PvE for cinematics, it's amazing. They've done an amazing job of crafting a traditional Japanese sort of dojo temple, whatever you would like to call it. Do not know the official terminology, but the flower, like even the autumn flowers, right, like the bloom and the sort of purple pink of the trees and everything, amazing. But the design of point B, it's so bad. Like, you have there's two ways you can go. You can either go straight through that top right realistically, or you can sim TP. Because if you run it down mid, they're just going to play DPS on high ground that will shoot you as you walk to point, and then you are the literal definition of fish in a barrel. So good luck. You need compositions that win fast on attack and that can snowball. And speaking of snowball, the May has come out for Chief. Smalley's going to go over on the sim. They're looking to do just that. Go to point, live, and then use ults to win point B.
Couple of substitutions in for Carnage here. Nick, and he's playing the Ashe, and Gusty as well. They are on the Mercy.
What a nade!
What a biotic grenade from Kip. Gonna tidy up two of the Billings boomers already here, and despite the TP in, it looks like it was extremely well handled from Carnage, and that just spells the end already here for Billings boomers.
Yep, that is how you stop the sim cheese. Great anti-nade from Kip. Everyone on the side of Carnage was aware of that sim strategy that came in, and Kip lands one from 3 distance. Call him Steph Curry straight from the splash range, and there you go. The splash damage is lethal. They were on the brink of death already as they set through the TP, and the anti-nade finished them off. If they would not have died to nade, well, that anti-effect, that purple, would have probably condemned them nonetheless. If anything, it was a quicker send-off. Now they swap, they go over to the 6-man. Honestly, not a bad choice. Again, they are looking to just go to the objectives, so there is time for Carnage to choke them out and to spam them out, but it's a lot shorter, and it's a lot less vulnerable than they were on this SimCom.
Apollo already working their way up to that Gravitic Flux as well. That'll be a good ultimate here with no ultimate advantage whatsoever in the hands of the Billings Boomers as Carnage continues to put in through a ton of damage right now from Gap on that high ground, on that Pharah, playing a lot of angles that just quite frankly are inaccessible for Billings Boomers as a Gravitic Flux is now in for Apollo. Nick finds the kill there, but Kip is taken down, losing that big healing from Kip. But there's the res coming in now from Gusty. That's going to get Carnage back into this. Apollo is on the ground as well.
Oh, no.
Nick found, and that is not a good sight for an Ashe player right there. No. You can't like that too much. We do see... I'm confused. But
I think actually kind of worse. You're going to die anywhere, try and 1-for-1. I think the biggest thing that does there by barraging, you probably doesn't even intend to do it, is by stopping the snowball. Are they going to hold this?
They
Surely not, right?
This. There was a nano boost in onto Ravage there. He's gonna give up a couple ticks here. The mines on the point are gonna really prevent much being done here from the Billings Boomers. And Ravage now spinning back in, drops the boom there really quick with that pile driver. Apollo is down now. We get a remake now for Midnight, and it does look like Carnage is going to let this one go now. That was a little bit of a strange, maybe a couple strange decisions there for Carnage.
It was. They almost managed to lock the point, but I think for the defenser, it's actually really good. You just buy time off the clock, you buy ultimates, you drain resources out of them, and the quicker they can get off the objective and into point B, the worse for you. So you get time. You get time now to set up with Gap on this Pharah. Tamori just gets one tapped.
Tamori
goes down as well.
Tamori got slept there after they ulted. They got slept. A great sleep by Kip, and Gap finds a couple. That's just gonna send Billings Boomers back already, and a good fight there.
Yeah, it is. Now they swap over to the EMP. Correct decision. Once again, this board composition. Now they're just playing the waiting game. They know they're going to win these fights until Tamori gets that EMP. They're just trying to draw the clock out as long as possible. This composition, this ball, and this set of 6 on paper for Carnage on the defense loses to this attacking 6 on paper. But Overwatch is not played on paper, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know. So for now, it's just ultimates. That's an aggressive death wasn't from Jeef, though. Straight into the left line.
An extremely aggressive. Blossom did not expect that whatsoever, but the ultimates now coming in for the Boomers is going to start to tick up that percentage. A tick already grabbed here by the Boomers as well. They got 6 on the point, and that's going to spell the end of it here, possibly for Carnage. But Barrage now in from Gap opens the door here. That was a well done barrage there, and he finds the Mercy. Gusty taking down Nunu Park as well. And it does. Yes, Carnage is going to start to rally back here. Dadmaster receives the nano boost, and with the big direct on the Silver Tails, that opens it up, and now finally Carnage is going to hold 84%. It's a good start here for the Boomers, but Carnage answered the bell there really nicely.
Yeah, I thought the door was slammed shut in the face of this defense, but Gap just kicks it down, breaks it open, and gives them a barrage straight down the gullet. The nano is applied by Kip as well, and he just one-shot Silver Tails with that. That is all the sustaining in the world gone. They all... How did he sleep the Sombra out of Invis? Hang on, whoa, Kip? Yeah, does not manage to quite convert it as well. You hate to see it. Great sleep from Kip, though, going to buy so much time. It's not mean that Tamori
can Silver Ring can't even understand that. I'm sorry. Like, it was just bizarre. Here we go. The mines are now invested by Ravage. Carnage ultimate's coming out here to try to hold off the Boomers. The sticky bomb is in as Gap finds his own way to the graveyard. And here goes Nick now on this Tracer, trying to will Carnage back into this one. The EMP now in from Tamori only finds Ravage. Not the highest value EMP in the world, but it is going to put Ravage on his back foot. Nonetheless, kills now coming purely for the Boomers here as Midnight finds and finishes off Apollo and Gap. Ravage now on the point here on that Wrecking Ball, trying to stall it out as long as possible, but he will fall. Self-destruct now in for Midnight, will close the door for Carnage, and Billings Boomers, minute 48. Not bad.
I was so skeptical about that EMP, Yeti. It was an EMP with like 2 people on the point. The Reaper was on their way back. Good work from the observers to catch that. I think solo observer, actually. Panther Reaper walking back to the objective in my brain. I'm just going, well, there's no Reaper on the objective, so why on earth are you guys committing? Wait till your Reaper's there, and then you'll just perma-win the fight. But Midnight had other plans. Midnight had other ideas. It is past midnight in the UK, and clearly that has angered the diva for Billings Boomers. Midnight just went absolutely crazy, found so many picks, kept his team alive as well for so long. It was just clean up crew on the objective, a one-man show there. I mean, that's exactly what they need. Now that gives them not the best time bank in the world, admittedly, but having a time bank on Hanamura B, especially over a minute, I think is so respectable, and something that they can definitely look towards and play the game of the full hold. Now, if they can just waste time on point A and play to stall on point B, they're probably going to find themselves with a better time on the clock with the higher number. And now for Carnage, well, they need to respond. They're going to try the one-fight cheese with the Sim TP. Honestly, I respect it, but this composition on the defense, it's a perfect set of heroes to counter this Sim.
Here we go now. Excuse me. I am so sorry. Here we go. Nick now on the Symmetra, hoping for slightly better results here from the Symmetra TP than we saw from the Boomers. You got to imagine they got to hope for a little bit better, but there's no Ana here, no biotic grenade. They take a slightly different approach here, heading to the high ground. That's a fantastic TP from Nick. They get the turrets down on the point as well, and now Carnage is in control of the point very quickly. They got 6 on the point, and now the Boomers are on the outside looking in. Tamori's turret is down. That's half a player's worth of damage taken down. The freeze now on to Midnight is going to close that out as well. The kills are slowly but surely coming in for Carnage, and it looks like Carnage will get the very quick take here.
Yeah, that's such a quick take. That TP is so good. They just split them onto the point. The wall comes in, it closes off the doorway, and Midnight is left waving through a window like he's Ben Platt. That's a musical reference. If anyone gets that in the chat, then good for them. But nonetheless, there's exactly the snowball what they need. Now they get to TP. Look, they're already on the objective. I can't even finish my sentence. They're already there and able to snowball. They're going to have to wait a little bit for the sim wall to come out for Nick to truly get a deadly two-fight combo. But for now, I mean, Kip's window as well. They just can go to high ground. So really nice play from Carnage, actually.
Carnage right now is setting up here. Good TP going across. They got the amplification matrix now from Kip, and they're going to start putting the damage in from the high ground. This is excellent teleporter control here from Carnage, following up that previous teleporter as well. They're doing a great job of getting high ground control here, and Nick
through the Baptiste? No way.
Just incredible through the amplification matrix. Nick, the traditional way of doing damage on Symmetra, but effective nonetheless. And look at this time bank, Jace. My goodness.
No shot. I can't believe it. They didn't have the sim wall. It was not traditional. It's not something that I've seen, but great call from whoever made it from Carnage to just rotate up to that high ground. Billings Boomers had completely forfeited Boardwalk. They completely forfeited that area above the point, above the objective, above the entry into the dojo for point B. And they said, well, if you're just going to forfeit this high ground, you're also going to forfeit this high ground because we're on the rush comp. And then we've got a sim, we've got an amplification matrix. I didn't think it was the best, but Nick and Gusty made it work. That was 2 charged right clicks from the sim fully charged, just one tapped 2 people for the side of Billings Boomers. I can't quite remember who it was, but I mean, obviously it was 2 squishies. Down they went in an instant. It's a 4v6. They just pile on the point. They're still a broad composition, and there was nothing that Billings Boomers, the defensive side, could do. It's 5 minutes now to 148. This has to be a colossal level of PayPal checking turbo throw. If Carnage lose this, there's absolutely no way, right? Like, just to rattle off some Overwatch tranquility. Has this ever happened before? I just want to know.
I'm sure it has at some point, but I mean, we've been around for so long at this point. I'm practically, I'm my own version of a Billings Boomer right now. I am an old man, and I'm getting older every day running this tournament. I can tell you, but I tell you what, it is a monumental task here for Carnage, or sorry, for the Billings Boomers to win this. But it's 2CP. Stupid things happen on 2CP, Jace.
Yeah.
It's it's just the way this map type goes sometimes. And speaking of crazy things, Nick is he's in a spot and he's able to get out. Well played by Nick getting out of that. And you know, for all it's worth, didn't really find a whole lot of success or damage there, but you know, at least they got out with their life. That's the important thing for sure here for Carnage. Getting a lot of damage. The Wrecking Ball is very low. Nunu Park trying to get out with 1 HP. The rocket from
great from that. So good.
All the way from the outfield wall there, basically Gap with the massive gun to home plate to find Ravage there. Good baseball pun because baseball is back, by the way, everybody. Woo! Anyways, Carnage is looking like they're gonna be able to close out this first fight, but Billings Boomers. Oh, Gap.
It's a gap. It really is. It's I didn't see much of that fight actually because my Steam decided to update mid-fight and almost crash my parser. I could see the kill feed. That was all I needed to see. Gap put in so much work on that Pharah. 77% on the ultimate. So punished for Pharah. It's a carry level hero. You put resources into it and you hope it pays off, and exactly what they did. Oh, they fall the mercy though. Half of the pharmacy. The combo is gone. The kitten is down. Can they punish onto Gap?
That's the big question here. Gap looking to get out with their life. They so far do, but losing that mercy, Gap is now down. But Nick and Ravage found kills of their own, so Billings Boomers are still playing at a deficit. At the bottom.
Oh, the Diva Bomb. Oh no.
That just happened. You Midnight, unfortunate. I'm sorry, Apollo with the unfortunate Diva Bomb there. Pardon me. Midnight has their own Diva Bomb upcoming here, and it's going to be able to clear off the point here for the Boomers more than likely as they look to secure this fight. Self-destruct now in for Midnight, not finding any targets. The Remax not finding anything either, but the kills are all going squarely in the favor of the Billings Boomers. Here comes the mines for Ravage. I don't know if that was a good choice.
Yeah, I don't think so. I assume Ravage probably should just swap anyway, just go over to something like an Orisa or even a Hog, maybe pull out the Kiwi for the Snowball. This is kind of forced from Carnage here. They're really just trying to drain out ultimates, but they're not going to. They have an Echo on objective. Chief should smell the Gap from far away, just went over to the Echo, the more broken hero of the Pharah, gets a damage boost.
Is that a... Oh my God, Gap! Oh no!
No,
That have to have been a fat figure. So unfortunate. That could cost Carnage here. No question about that. Unbelievable unbelievable miskick there from Gap, and Carnage right now is really on their back foot. Chief has the copy now in, and he's gonna get that ultimate more than likely. That self-destruct will be up soon. Already a tick on point 2. Here comes the self-destruct now from Chief. It's gonna clear off the point really quickly here. And we see the bomb eaten by Midnight. 2 versions of Diva plays coming through. And Silvertall's with the Transcendence is going to keep the Boomers going on the point here. And we see the D-Mech now onto Apollo. Silvertall's taken down by Ravage. It's a big target now down. And here comes the sound barrier from Kip. Carnage looking to turn it around here. The Diva bomb is
finds 2.
massive from Midnight, though. And that is it going to turn around is the question. The bomb now in from Nick. Onto Apollo taken out with that sticky bomb. This is like an insane fight, Jace. I can hardly keep tabs on it. The kills are trading back and forth. It could work out in the favor of Carnage. So here comes the mines now in from Ravage, and Carnage turning it around with Dusty finding Unipark and Gap. This barrage finds the target this time.
Doesn't fat finger that one.
It doesn't fat finger that one. That is a big hold there, holding off at 58%. You know, but to the Boomers' credit, they found some percentage on point 2, and that can be big on this. If you can get a little bit of percentage, it could be all you need.
They didn't get a little, they got a lot as well. I think walking away, most people would agree that that's an absolute dub for the Boomers there. 58% with basically overtime. The Transcendence that came in as well from Mushroom, I believe, was almost the nail in the coffin. Like, they'd taken so much damage. They were so squishy as a composition to rotate onto that objective, and the Transcendence from Silvertall's, apologies, just covered them all so well. It kept them back up to full HP, but in the end they could not quite clean up in time. The 2 CP respawns came in thick and fast. Gusty sound barrier put them at a massive HP advantage. Eventually the fight got stalled out. Gap made no mistake with that other barrage. In the end, I think the time bank's just a little bit too unfortunate for the Billings Boomers. And now 5 minutes on the clock. It's potentially shaky. Getting percentage on point B with over 5 minutes is something that it's not necessarily in the bad. It's not necessarily wrapped up. It's a tick and a half basically to get. So about, I mean, as I said, yeah, 50%. They need to cap over half of the objective if they don't have any chance of getting this. And I mean, if they can get a tick early, then it's probably going to be winnable. But I think if they're able to get this first fight, then, as I said, going to look more winnable. But I think it totally depends. Just they've got a really good comp again on the defense Billings to counter the same TP.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good to see. Same TP again, not really counted out there by the Boomers. They does get destroyed at the very end, but everybody's through here for Carnage, it looks like, as Gap trying to find some heads here with those icicles. Hitting great directs on the Pharah, trying to follow up with some nice little hits here on that May, no question about it. But Apollo now in a duel with the other Diva. The trade, we're just seeing little damage trades here, but 2 ticks already now for Carnage.
The boop.
And a kill on the Nunu Park. Carnage is kind of in control right now. They're going to need a big play here from the Billings Boomers, and they're just not finding it. The only thing they're finding is their spawn room.
Yeah, they're also finding the edge of the map, apparently. That's 2 environmentals from Billings Boomers, both Tamori and Nunu Park going off the map there. In the case of 10 seconds, they're going to get a good stagger onto the Zen. I think the TCP respawns are just going to... Yeah, there we go. Silvertall's basically gets no stagger at all. They take the CP, and there we go. They've put themselves at a great opportunity, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once again, Carnage take this rotation onto the high ground with Window in hand. Let's see if history can repeat itself.
Here we go. Window now in hand, like you said, for Kip. 2 support ultimates could set up Carnage for the... They got the TP across again. They're just getting perfect teleports here each time. But it does look like Gap is out of position right now. Amplification Matrix used by Kip, and Gusty with the sound barrier as well. Big eat from Midnight, though, on Gap's Blizzard. Self-destruct, though, finds Midnight. So we are seeing some trade-outs here, but Kip with some fantastic... Oh, Kip finding another. And that's going to actually probably spell the end here, it looks like, for the Boomers, as Carnage looks to be in line here to tie this thing up 1-1. But a good Transcendence from Silvertall is going to slow this down a little bit. And here come the reinforcements for the Billings Boomers. Self-destruct for Midnight, not finding any target. Nick does take down Silvertall's, losing that support is massive, but Tamori finds 3, and that could line up the Billings Boomers here, looking for a 4th. And what a play there. Oh, Tamori comes up massive on the
Yeah,
far up.
absolutely.
It was crazy what we just witnessed there, Jace. And Billings Boomers managed to clutch it out. And there's so many good individual plays that set that up, Jace.
Now there's so many ultimates down for the side of Carnage as well. It was a Memento Mori from Tamori. Such a good play with the Pharaoh. They respawned perfectly. Did the pharmacy after getting gatted by Kip there on the Baptiste. He did such a good job. I was about to praise him once they finished out that map. He's going to have window again to go for his efforts in dealing with the pharmacy. But once he went down, once that Diva was out of resources, Tamori just took over and dominated 3 or 4 quick kills. And Carnage were completely torn apart. Once again here, they're going to have to go with the same strategy with the window. But Mushroom's Valkyrie is just going to sort of goad them off, guide them off any second now and force them to rotate into this underside.
Here, and we see again, we have the far out from Mushroom. Mushroom used that Valkyrie here. Now the Valkyrie just being weighted out. It looks like, oh, Tamori, 2 kills already. Everybody's low. There's a fantastic ultimate.
Yeah, it's actually so worth for the Pharaoh to die there. Fans too.
Absolutely.
Basically in half a second, the res is going to come through from Mushroom as well. Even if there was no resurrection available, just basically dive bombs into the enemy. Broad composition goes behind the Reinhardt shield and just one-shots Gap and Justy. Nothing that they could do. It's one barrage. Think about it, barrage, such an invaluable ultimate. You are most vulnerable when you are in that state, able to put those rockets down in that ultimate. Tamori finding 2 is so worse. Now they get to snowball their other important ultimates. Most importantly, they get to delay time. Justy and Gap, Kip, all these ultimates from them are going to be so valuable in this fight. But I mean, Chief, particularly on the Doomfish, could find a way to one-shot any of them.
OC self-destruct and the Earth Shatter from Ravage, self-destruct from Midnight, but nobody finds any kills right now. Just a lot of still laying out here from Carnage, and Nick is taken down. The punch from Chief as well. No DPS, and now no Baptiste, and Carnage again sent back. These fights are ending so fast right now that the Billings Boomers are just completely in control.
They're ending so fast, but not fast enough for Carnage, because it's now 1 minute 28 left on the time bank. They only need a tick, so potentially C9able, but don't think they have the comp to do it. What Carnage need to do now is, I think, just try and run it down mid and go with the Blizzard. You have one of the best zoning ultimates in the game, one of the best zoning tools in the game, and you only need a tick. You basically need less than a tick. Actually, you need about 3/4 of one. So, I mean, it's got to be worth trying, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think here comes Tamori with another barrage, though. We saw it work really well the last time. He's looking for it, trying to get in a position, and there's another close-range barrage, but punished this time by Ravage. The tick is on. Here comes... Oh, so close to the C9 there. Carnage now on the point, and the kills are coming purely Carnage's way. The Pharmacy is back up, though. Tamori now back down after Kip takes them out of the sky. They're dueling Earth Shatter there, and it looks
holding
like
this?
they both
No way.
No way the Billings Boomers came back here. Unbelievable.
Oh my. I was about to say, like, I thought for sure Apollo had actually thrown it by demeching yourself there. You give the angle for Tamori to go in with the barrage because there's no defense matrix coverage, right? But the ultimates came in, the beat came in, the Blizzard came into zone to punish. The rest of the team got crunched because they were trying to collapse with Tamori on the off angle going behind them as they either walked into a rock or a barrage. Literally a rock and a hard place. Now 8 seconds left, they've got to scramble to the objective. The Bone Dry and ultimates, have they done this? Have they pulled out the hold of all holds? Have Carnage really lost this with 5 minutes on the time bank?
Here's the touch there from Gusty to get the overtime clock ticking. We see Deadeye invested from Nick, finds one and manages to stay alive with that fantastic immortality field. We see multiple ultimates we see one ultimate left on the table here. That's Apollo's self-destruct, but Nick finding kills, and the kills are going squarely in the favor of Carnage right now. We still have an ultimate, the self-destruct to clear the point if they need to, but it looks like Carnage is going to just barely clutch this out here. Ooh, and we tie it up after Hanamura. Carnage evens it up 1-1, Jace.
Yeah, they even it up. I guess the map win counts. You know, there is no added points for winning it with 5 minutes left off winning it in overtime. But Billings Boomers are not going to be too upset, I think, with how they played that one. Carnage had all the advantages in the world. So much ult advantage, so much time bank as well. And time bank on Hanamura B really is everything. You need these fights to get yourself a generous, a favorable ultimate advantage situation. And for them to just about clutch it in the neutral with those double hit stands, felling Tamori and Chief quickly. They just banked it all on mechanical still in the end, and their DPS came up clutch. Unlucky because Tamori had done so much work in that map, but him and Chief going in, I think, a little bit too aggressive early. spelled the end for the Billings Boomers in that fight. And, well, therefore the map 1-1, really close series so far, really great game. Hanamura is a social experiment, ladies and gentlemen. You saw it here first live on Overwatch Tranquility here on Twitch. What an experience, Hanamura. I'm so glad we can get off this map now. Holy.
Yep. We finally get to move to some more enjoyable experiences, perhaps with some hybrid and some escort coming up here. Nonetheless,
the barrage. Sorry, the barrage is maybe
no. It's perfect. It's perfect. You can't ask for anything better than that, guys. We have a lot of matches wrapping up in the community right now, but we are going to go ahead and kick it. We're going to kick it to our 10-minute halftime here right now, guys. The score is 1-1 for Carnage and Billings Boomers, and we will send you off to that 10-minute halftime right now. We'll be right back with more Overwatch. Welcome back, everybody. We are back from halftime, and we are watching Carnage taking on the Billings Boomers. That's 3-0 Carnage, 2-1 Billings Boomers. We're seeing a close one right now, tied 1-1 after Busan and Hanamura. I'm Mr. Yeti, and again, I am joined by Jace. Jace, it has been an awesome match so far today.
Yes, it absolutely has. We are seeing two of the best teams in this tier. Absolutely, we're seeing some of the best players, some of the best plays. We are seeing some throws. We are seeing highs. We are seeing lows, peaks, and tropes. Well, I was informed in the break that this is a tradition, as in any tournament. It is map 3. It is the hybrid map. We're going to King's Row. Scrims Row. Yet again, one of my favorite maps in the game. I just think it's so well designed. It's one of the only few surviving brawl maps in the game. And the mass exodus of Double Shield when all the Reinhardt mains flocked to, I don't know where, probably down that pit in King's Row, in that environmental place down there. They probably all fell down there. The rise of the Orisa mains, everything. Reinhardt players still well and truly live and breathe King's Row. I'm glad to see it in a tournament once again, and here we are. I'm not quite sure who this benefits. What do you think, Yeti? Which team do you think this map benefits the most?
You know, I think right now Ravage has been doing a little bit better on the Reinhardt so far, and Gap's Mei has been a difference maker in pretty much every time we've seen Gap on the Mei. It has been a very effectively ran for Carnage. So I feel like this is a good situation for Carnage right now, going over to this map that was not their choice, and I feel like maybe might not have been the best map choice given how strong Gap's Mei has been and how strong Ravage has been on the Reinhardt. We do see the T6 ban for a minute there, but it does look like we are going to get the dueling Reinhardt, but it's a little different from both sides. On the DPS front, at least, it's Doom and Reaper taking on Mei and Cassidy, and I gotta think right now that favors the Mei and Cassidy.
Absolutely it does. We're going to see the slam go in, the quick engage onto Reinhardt. The Doom really has to get a pick here, does not, and well, I mean, they continue to pressure on the front line.
And Gap finds the kill right there onto Tamori. Tamori not getting the kill on their first push in, and as soon as that happens, now the wall is in play, and a fantastic wall. Not quick enough to follow up here, but that's probably good reservation. The health pools were low for Carnage. They played it slow. They're drawing the fight out, and really in these payload maps, in these the long fights for defense, that's great. Stagger it out.
Yes, absolutely. Not only do Gap and Nick always win the long fight, I think both of these teams are looking at Rush in a little bit of a different way. Gap and Nick, the Mei and the Cassidy, are there to peel and protect the Reinhardt, whereas Keith and Tamori, they want the support, they want the picks, they want the kills. This is a tank-focused broad comp against a DPS-focused broad comp, and right now, this Mei just causing havoc once again, really bullying the tanks off the side of the Dreamers. They're getting no help whatsoever.
And that right now, we see the ultimate economy right now is so highly in favor of the of Carnage right there. I've got that Blizzard coming online very quick. It's a really good situation for Carnage, and right now Gap trying to get those last few shots needed to get this thing going. The rotation in through Hotel here, but again the wall fantastic from Gap is gonna light this up here for Nick. Nick trying to find that does
find Nunu.
Unbelievable. Nunu just took the wall down for, or just took the shield down for a second, and it was just a second too long. And it looks like Carnage again, just another really efficient fight, and we're already halfway through the attack here for Billings.
This Doomfish of Tamori, I actually don't mind it, but it's such a big gamble. Tamori needs to go in, the rest of his team play front to back with this Reinhardt. He needs to find a kill and a pick. Once that ice wall is done up onto his Reinhardt, that is the opportunity where their shields, their mines go down because they blindly and sort of just rush on with that Mei wall. That's when Tamori finds the pick, that's when he finds the execute. There we go, it goes in. But he's just punching into Reinhardt and he gets one shot.
Exactly, the punches aren't working. Tamori, I think some sort of change needs to happen here. They have ultimates right now, but I mean, it's Meteor Strike. That's barely an ultimate.
No, it is. Just means that Tamori can do what he did and then get out, but he's probably going to get flashbanged anyway. Gap gets a really nice pick onto Midnight now with his 1 minute 31 left on the clock. This is going to be a big 6. Basically, Tamori gets picked off again. These are more picks. This is not good for this attacking side. It's not good for the Boomers right now. This is not what they want to see.
Borderline inexcusable staggering right now for the Billings Boomers, and they are just hiding in the corner now, trying to get back in sorts here. But look at, I mean, ultimates now for both teams. We are going to see a lot of Q here right now, I have a feeling. And here comes the Deadeye from Nick. Nick getting the first ultimate in, trying to hunt down a target, not finding anything though. Sound barrier now invested from Mushroom, trying to open it up as Sia also pops that just from the top rope there, just barely gets it online before he himself falls. And good self-destruct.
Chief dies out of Wraith.
Oh no, that was Red out of Wraith too, and that was with an ultimate in hand as well.
Wait, and he cancels Blizzard with Slow.
Oh my god,
he just cancels it with Earth Shatter.
No way. Barely canceled there from Nunu, but the kills are being traded right now. Nick has found 2. Chief is back in though with that Death Blossom. The Chief could open this thing up here in a big way for the Billings Boomers. Nick trying to get out, just barely cannot as Chief finishes it off at long range with those shotguns. The Tracer is now in. Here comes the amplification matrix, and Chief looking to make sure fight secured. And Chief finishes that one off, and it does look like finally the Billings Boomers are going to get a hold on this. But a great hold from Carnage.
It was a good hold. They tossed every ultimate in the bank for the attacking side, so there's no snowball comes in. But how crazy!
Oh, Nick with the ego duel. Who's going to win this? Oh,
yeah, Nick takes the ego peak. That fight was so crazy. I'll have to go over it when I get a lot of downtime. But for now, it's just going to be the attack. They do get the choke hold, so whilst they lose basically all their ultimates, they get this choke hold, this annoying gate hold that forces Chief over to the May. This pick from Nick is going to be great because it gives them a little bit more breathing room and time to rest resources. And right now, when you're playing for gate hold, it's all about resources and time. They are just looking to burn this spot down to overtime and probably win with a Blizzard or something like that.
Gap right now working on that Blizzard, 33% here. The amplification matrix is back up already for Kip. Kip charging those up at an impressive rate so far. Gap takes advantage as a Nunu gets stuck there behind that wall. Well played by Gap. Again, on the May has been outstanding all night tonight on all heroes, but that May has been especially deadly. Jace, it's really has been a bit of a gap tonight.
It's been a bit of a gap. Gap's May is just so unplayable. Like Nunu Bark and Midnight can't do anything. Silvertails can't even get the lamp in time before they get knocked down before that right heart gets powered over. This is a really nice defensive wall there from Chief. Gives his team a breathing room finally into this fight, but it's mirrored by a ton of ultimates.
Oh, and a Earth Shatter is big from Nunu Park. Finds a few targets, but Gap returns it with a Blizzard, and it's a big one. Extremely effective. Self-destruct follows it up. Not finding any kills, but the kills now are all in the favor of Carnage. And it looks like Gap, again, comes up with the play when Carnage needed it most.
Oh, it's so good. Basically 5 on the floor, but the one they did not knock down was the one with the all-important ultimates. They could not walk on that Earth Shatter. They could not punish the fact that the Ice Wall had to be forced to keep his team alive because the Blizzard froze them all up. Then the bomb came in for coverage from Apollo as well. Once he'd gotten back off the floor, it was great defensive read, great instinctual play from Carnage, and it buys them a lifeline and a great window into this game. Speaking of windows, that's 2 on the battlefield, and all Carnage goes in as all hell breaks loose. It's a bomb everywhere, it's a Blizzard, it's a bunch of ultimates.
It's a lot of ultimates right now for
total mayhem.
All the ultimates right now for Billings Boomers, but you know what? It was effective. It got through that point here. Now, here's the question. That fight was quick. Are they going to be able to get a touch? I don't quite think so. They got 3 on the card here. I think they're going to come up just a little bit short of touching range. But, you know, when it came down to it, all the ultimates got used, and it was probably worthwhile. Oh, are we going to get a touch? Yeah, we are going to get a touch here. Just barely. Oh, just barely.
0.01.
Oh, but a big Deadeye. Not finding the targets for Tamori. Actually did get a DMAC, pardon me. And they do push them back, and there's the cap actually right there. The Boomers managed to cap it. They only got 1 minute 20 seconds left to go here though, Jay. So it's a tough cap. There's a tough push here left to go for the Village Boomers.
And Carnage takes the worst fight possible as well. They went to contest the payload, they lost the payload, so now they're just getting staggered. The respawn's coming in, they give up crucial space now to the Billings Boomers here. They can really take this corner. Chief gets a nice DMAC onto Apollo as well. That's such an important defensive resource. She's got no matrix coverage. But next though, he's just going to respond, going to be crypt walking, going to be walking like a model down with the High Noon, just buying precious time and space for Ravage to walk back up and reclaim that space that they lost by losing second point.
Good fight here now for Carnage, pushing back onto Billings Boomers. 30 seconds left. Tamori getting out there. We're now in one fight territory. Absolutely. Lots of ultimates on the table here. Again, the button key will be pressed by both teams at least 4 or 5 times here in this point. And we're going to expect to see an amplification matrix in first from Kip. Kip now finding targets. We're getting a little bit of, there we go, lag resolved, it looks like, thankfully. And Kip trying to find something, but Ravage finds the first kill onto Mushroom. That's a big target. They lose sound barrier here as well. They're quickly trying to get a soft reset in. That might be a very ambitious soft reset here, Jace. I don't know if it's worthwhile.
If Gap has wall, they can't touch. Looks like he doesn't. Average just going to sit 4 on the floor anyway. What a shad, what a slam.
Who needs wall when you have Ravage's hammer? But what an answer here from Nunu Park. They charge Sia out right there, and that's actually now starting to look like it might be a favorable situation for the Boomers.
No way.
Midnight is D-Mech here on the cart. Midnight is the only person on the cart right now, but here comes the Doomfist from Chief, who hasn't found it yet, and the kills are going in the favor of Carnage now, as Nick finds Mushroom as well, and all the kills are going as Gap snipes out Midnight, and that will be Carnage holding off here in the Foundry of Kings Row, and a good defense there overall from Carnage.
Yeah, it got scary. It got a little bit shaky for a second. We don't talk about point B. We do not talk about objective Bruno. But now we get in. A Gap was just a menace this entire map, though. I thought for sure that they'd gotten themselves potentially a way back in. Nunu Park slam after Ravage had already one-shot 2 of his team. I thought that was maybe the turnaround. Chief was still alive in that fight. He's been doing so much work to match Gap as well. But unfortunately, the Stagers 1 by 1, they came in again for Carnage, and they were just going to win the game of ultimate respawns, ultimates and respawns, sorry, every single day of the week. And 33 meters on point B isn't the worst. Sorry, on point C isn't the worst in the world. They get it around that all-important corner, the one that it naturally rolls to after you push it in as it gets down the hill. However, I think anywhere that isn't on the final slope of this point is considered a failure in terms of hold. Now, 4 minutes on the clock. I don't want to sort of call it like I see it and sort of call it too early and count my chickens before they hatch. But if this is a good, clean point A fight, if they take it within the first minute and a half, do Carnage, then they're going to put themselves in a great situation in terms of ultimates and positional advantage to snowball point B. And point B for this team is really, really where they're put up to the test, because if they can pass that with flying colors, it's an easy sort to a map win.
We get a mirror match now. Chief looking to match Gap's success on the May here, and Chief has also had some good success on the May so far tonight. You see walls now in from both teams, as we can't see the action, unfortunately, but here we go. Gap now looking for some targets to find and pick off here. Tamori very low. Several targets very low for Carnage, it looks like here. Now their attack is currently being repelled. Well done, and Nunu Park already built up an Earth Shatter. That's some impressive Reinhardt damage this early.
Yeah, so much more aggressive now. Boomers on the defense. They know that they've got a lifeline to play for. They've got a very short objective they need to hold. They're just going for it. Great aggression. They go in on the May wall. No hesitation. They're rewarded with 2 good ultimates to go with it. Kip, unfortunately, all the damage that the Reinhardt of Ravage soaked just going to be absorbed by Kip into that ultimate charge. So now they've got an angle to swing as well. And Nick's been a little quiet in the series compared to his DPS counterpart, but hey, give him the window from Kip, and I'm sure he could manage to find a one-tap on somebody.
Silvertals right now is holding that application matrix, looking to answer Kip's implication matrix. Here we go. Deadeye now in from Nick. Deadeye being not finding any targets here. Gap sitting on that Blizzard, waiting for the opportunity, and there it is. And it's a good one from Gap, but it's going to be answered by Chief. 2 Blizzards on the point, lots of frozen bodies, and there's the Deadeye now from Tamori, not finding anything, but Nunu Park found Ravage. Kills now looking to be in the favor of the Billings Boomers, and they continue to repel this Carnage attack and do it rather efficiently here, Jace.
They are soaking up the pressure like a sponge. This is so impressive, and particularly from Midnight, Nunu, Silvertals, and Mushroom, the defensive resources for this composition. So much pressure is being angled onto Nunu, onto Tamori, onto Chief, and the supports from Silvertals and Mushroom, the supports for the Billings Boomers are soaking it up and they're throwing it back tenfold. Nunu and Midnight should not be able to live as long as they are right now, and it's absolutely winning Billings Boomers these fights.
And it is, and here comes, speaking of winning a fight, that self-destruct did not win the fight there, but Ravage finds an Earth Shatter, killing Tamori. We see lots of investment here from the Billings Boomers. We see Immortality Field out as well. And that's just a lot of damage from Carnage, and they are going to hold here and manage to take it. Minute 30, they got a minute 30 longer to push this through the streets than Billings Boomers did. That's a good start here for Carnage.
It absolutely is. They're going to come up on some important ultimates to snowball as long as such an aggressive charge from Ravage as he looks to take the corner to pin his Reinhardt counterpart. But luckily the support, Silvertals and Mushroom, just managed to escape with their lives. But I mean, the defensive side, they get to go with the forward hold here, and they've got the window swing to do it. That's going to force the attacking side away, or at least, yeah, commit their own amplification matrix.
And oftentimes it comes down to who uses ultimates first there. Carnage doing what they need to do to make sure they can clear that archway successfully to get that first corner here, which could be a critical step in the direction here of pushing this cart, is getting those first couple corners. We see a really quick LOS from Carnage, or trying to get out of the way here. Look at the ultimate. They're back into a corner that is not where you want to be, but Carnage is finding the kills nonetheless, despite the push into the cafe there from Billings Boomers. Carnage answers it with Gap on a fantastic Blizzard.
It looks like they've made Frozen into a graphic novel because they were all ice solid in a bookstore. That's awful. That's so bad. Nonetheless, speaking of Blizzard, Chief has got a forward hold. There's a wall going to come in, a high noon for a respawn. Chief still decides to hold on to it, but Chief, your team are dying. Please use the Q button.
And we see Blizzard and self-destruct, and Apollo finds 2, and that's going to be enough here for Carnage. It looks like to push their way through the streets of Kings Row, and we head to the Foundry now, and looks like Carnage is going to have 4 minutes to push this thing about 33 meters. That golden box of victory is real close here, Jace.
We are in the home of the Omnics, and it's an Omni crisis for this defense right now. There's 3 minutes 49 left on the clock. There is only really an Earth Shatter to really go with this mirror. This window is going to be traded out by Ice Walls. Most likely Midnight has to scramble to the payload. I don't think you have to go that soon. That's a great slam from Ravage, though.
A great Earth Shatter from Ravage opens the door for Carnage. Now the wall cuts off that amplification matrix as well, and Ravage swinging the rocket hammer through all the Billings Boomers. And our Kangaroos in danger, because I think they're about to be right now, as the Boomers right now are getting rolled over on the shoulders of Ravage, and it's high noon now for Carnage as they take this one, moving up 2-1 after Kings Row.
It really was high noon. The Carnage was absolute peak for them. Dap just had Blizzard again in the last fight. Not quite sure how he used it like 45 seconds ago. That's one where you kind of just look at it and go, okay, I guess, GG. This is so dumb. I've played against Chief's May. I know how annoying it is. He's so good on that character. He's not one to slouch for at all. Chief is good at the She-Banshee, the Ice Devil, the queen herself, the queen of the cold. But, I mean, Gap just has Blizzard off cooldown. Like, what is that? It's such a fight-winning ultimate for them. Not only can he generate these ultimates so quick, he's also so good with them. Something that I highly discourage whenever I talk to teams. I used to coach for a while, just to sort of reveal a little bit about that. And one thing I'd always say is just Blizzard first. Never try and Blizzard second or Blizzard late in the fight. I was always so against being able to use these Blizzard in response to something, because it's such an important and valuable ultimate that you should always go with it first. There's no reason not to. It sets tempo, it forces cooldowns, it forces zone control, it buys you so much space. So to respond with it second, you lose out on so much of that. But Jab doesn't care. He's just throwing them out. They're all running into his team, collapsing on the Reinhardt after the May wall. He's correctly managing to slip it under the defense matrix of Midnight, and the Boomers don't have a chance. They're getting frozen, they're being turned into icicles, they're being turned into sculptors, and well, they're just being completely shattered. Carnage, I wouldn't say particularly playing the broad comp too well, although they have been pretty aggressive in the fights that they've needed to be, but so far these fights, it's coming down close, and if Gap has Blizzard, they just insta-win.
Absolutely, and Gap has been just absolutely shouldering Carnage at several points so far tonight. We did see some substitutions previously, bringing in Sia here on this map in for Gusty. We're going to see a couple substitutions, I have a feeling, going back here for Carnage, I would have to imagine. Again, I would imagine we might see Dabmaster coming back in here for Nick, but you don't know yet, actually. I mean, I guess it could be. We don't have the 2 map rule here in Transcendence here, so we'll see what they end up going with. But they're trying to just, it looks like Billings Boomers are on the map pick here, and they initially picked Gibraltar, but they're kind of rotating around. I'm not really certain what's going on here. We got some NA hosts going on, unfortunately, here, Jace. I'm sorry. But right now, I mean, the Billings Boomers, the thing is, despite everything here, despite the fact that Carnage is up 2-1, Boomers have been right in it every step of the way. These are not, this has not been a decisive win for Carnage right now so far. The Boomers are absolutely in this match. We very easily could be looking at a map 5, and it looks like we are going to Junkertown as the map choice actually now for the Billings Boomers. And That is an interesting one because, again, Junkertown is another one of those maps that plays a lot unlike really any other map. You get that massive sniping opportunity on point A. Big hit scans can thrive here.
Yep.
6-man wrecking ball. I mean, even Roadhog. See Bastions. I mean, this map is really the wild west. And you know, I had to say I don't know what to expect here from a team like the Billings Boomers because they could really pull out anything. And like you said, Chief really plays everything. So we don't know what we're going to expect right now. You know, I feel like I really like this choice here if you're the Billings Boomers.
I do, absolutely. I think also in terms of a mental thing, which is very, very important at this level, in terms of the confidence, knowing that you don't have to go up against Gap's May for this map is probably a good thing. The May could come out on point C, but even then you kind of just go to the high ground, laugh at the May on the floor, shoot them, force ice block, and then you win. So definitely knowing that you're not going against Gap anyway because he's subbed out or have to go against that May is something that's going to help a lot with confidence. You're going to get Chief back in his comfort heroes as well. Silver Tolls did great on that Zenyatta when they came in as well on Hanamura. Definitely helped earn them the map. Did they win? Did Billings win Hanamura? No,
Billings,
Carnage
took
won.
Carnage won. Carnage won. Hanamura. That was we started off 1-0 for Billings, so Carnage rattled off 2 straight map wins.
Yeah, Silvertoll's still doing work on Zenyatta though for sure, so they're going to be happy to get him back on that comfort pick. Both sides going with pretty standard compositions, and I hate how Roadhog is considered standard now because I hate this hero. I've only complained about stuff on stream, by the way. In terms of my actual takes about the game, I'm just complaining, I'm just whining, I'm just moaning. But it's literally just 2CP and Hog, guys. Everything else in the game is fine. Hog is not a tank hero, it's a DPS hero. And Midnight, well, he needs to get on the flank against Chip and Justy. I mean, that's such a good backline for Roadhog, right? If he can find the pitch, if he can bully his way past Nick and Dabmaster 66, then going to be free for the Kiwi. In the land of the Outback and the Outlaw, there are no rules, and when there's no rules, there is no formalities. And I mean, Hog is the prime master of chaos, the Lord of Darkness, and the funny one-shot character. So big pressure on Midnight. Got to perform on this piggy.
Midnight's got to perform big time. We oftentimes see in ranked, if you get that Roadhog on your team, it can be the absolute tilting experience, especially when they're not finding any picks. Not finding one on that first hook there is Midnight. Midnight looking for the redemption pickup here for sure, but Nick is on that Widowmaker. No sniper duel here on this map. We actually see just rolling out with the ball and Tracer comp is Billings Boomers. They're not exploiting or not looking for any opportunity here to snipe out and play that sniper game with Nick. But Nick is playing his own game right now, and that's with the head of Chief. The Chief does get the res for Mushroom right now, so res now offline for the Boomers just for a little bit here. Dabmaster hunting down Tamori, not finding the kill quite yet. Tamori weaseling their way around here in the desert.
Tamori lives?
Somehow squeaks out of there, just barely. Nick right now looking for the head of that Roadhog, that massive hitbox, naturally going to be a target here. Devs managed to get out and take a breather for just a moment. Nunu Park spinning through, finds Nick. The Widowmaker is down. The heads can come out now, everybody. And Gusty right now is just completely caught out. And it looks like Chief with a couple of kills there. It opens it up now, and Billings Boomers are going to get this push going.
Midnight well and truly inside their walls, leaking their IP addresses, doing whatever he wants. He's just all over them. Went into the back line, just one-shot Kip from there. The fight was done. Nothing they could do. They had to turn around for the piggy. When they turned around for the piggy, Nunu Park went at Mach 10 about infinite speed and just rolled over Justy on that Zenyatta. And if the fight was ever winnable, when that Zenyatta goes down, no, sir, it is not. Now they have a great opportunity to snowball. There are more flanks, there are more walls, there are more hideaways, there are more alleyways for this Roadhog, Tamori, and Nunu to just be a menace and go out on these off angles and just look to displace and ultimately annoy this comp of Carnage. And that's ultimately what they want to do now. They leave the Zen alone, and Tamori's straight on him.
And Tamori is right on it immediately, but Dabmaster did take out Midnight, losing that Roadhog early. We see the Sticky Bomb come in, not finding the target, the pulse not connecting. But Tamori back at it again, trying to charge up yet another one, but the Gravitic Flux is big from Apollo. And they do find the kill on the Silvertall, so not, despite these kills kind of trading out, if you're Carnage and you're sitting on defense right now, you're okay. Let's keep trading out these kills. Let's drag this fight out.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they need to do, drag it out with 3 minutes 59 left on the clock. But unfortunately, they drag it out. They give up space, they give up time, and they give up resources, which means that guess what? The flanks can come in. Justy gets a nice trade kill onto Lamori, but Chief, well, puts one lodge in the skull of Ravage. That's going to force on from Justy.
Oh, no.
They think they can win this fight.
And the Gusty continuing to, yeah, like you said, they definitely think they can win this fight here, but it's going to be tough. The Orb's Destruction not finding the targets yet. Oh, but Gusty does find Midnight, actually. Are we seeing a turnaround here? Is Carnage somehow going to manage to clutch this out? Chief trying to push the cart is taken down by Dabmaster. Carnage, despite all odds there, they managed to pull that back. Carnage, again, just the clutch plays have been unbelievable tonight.
I can't believe that. They went for the Transcendence, more of, I think, Prage, more of hope than expectation, but immediately off the Transcendence, apparently Transcendence now just gives everyone 100% headshot accuracy, because that was 4 headshots straight in the kill feed for Carnage, and they just individually, it was 4 1v1s, 4-0, clean sweep. They've won every one of them now, puts them in a great position. They get control back, they get to check these angles, they get to slow the game down, and it forces a lot more time as this really sort of devilish, this chaotic composition for the Billings Boomers have to set up these flanks and off angles, and that is going to take them time.
Here we go. It looks like Midnight now with the whole hog trying to open things up for the Billings Boomers, and here comes the Dragon Strike from Chief as well. Billings Boomers find 3 kills. Can they close out this fight, though? That's going to be the question. It's been running, it's been the problem all night for them so far. Ravage does kill Chief for perhaps a little scared. It actually scares the Boomers into using the Transcendence, which if you're the Boom, if you're Carnage,
Not
getting
bad.
that ultimate out of them, despite losing that fight, you got to feel pretty good there.
Yeah, it's basically a free Transcendence to get outright. It's just an insurance policy. Dabmaster, nice Storm Arrows to take down Tamori. That's trying to deny this all-important high ground flank that can come in. Tracer, you can be a menace on this point, has played it. I've seen it, have coached it a million times myself. If you can get on this, I still call it the fidget spinner. If you can get on this fidget spinner that Nunu parks on right here, you can get on access to these ramps, these high grounds, these alleyways, and from there, Tracer, you've got great angles to stage. Go on to a prime target like these at the altar of Silver Tall. So falling, really nice pick from Dabmaster. Going to keep the backline of Kip and Gusty safe and toasty if they needed to be on that break, which is such a strong, durable backline in itself. So say that Tamori dies again, so 2 fights in a row, kind of not really, but he's been picked off twice now in the space. Probably should swap. There we go. He's going to get that Ash Pocket, and Carnage, once again, they buy themselves some breathing room.
Yep, Carnage again winning these kind of scrappy little fights, and it's working out well for them so far. They have 2 minutes and 45 seconds here to hold, but you know, with how tough this point can be to take, it's certainly a very doable thing here for Carnage to hold off here. Chief getting really close to that Dragon Strike, eats a halt, but not taken down. Midnight goes to high ground, trying to find the kill, cannot, is going deep, trying to get this one, and he does, and here comes the whole hog. Midnight on the Roadhog. This is the kind of Roadhog I never get on my team when I'm playing ranked here, Jace. What is this?
Yeah, no, I've never seen this before. This is a hog actually being useful. Like, what is this? I have never seen it before in my life. Midnight doing such good work there. Gets the perfect flank drop. Finds a Cassidy in the 1v1 in hook trade. That's exactly what you want from your hog. Gets another pick. Is just about saved by the rock. Great rock from Apollo. That saved practice. That could have been the game set and match right in there. That could have been the map push. There we go. The problematic E goes down, and Transcendence double support ultimates actually forced out from the Billings Boomers.
That's actually a good situation to suddenly hear for Carnage. They're turning this one around, and both support ultimates down, like you said, for Billings Boomers. Carnage is gotta be. I mean, Nick with a really strong 4K, like you said, and Carnage now, with the both support ultimates invested, they are 100% of the driver's seat right now. Looking at these ult economy.
They are as dry as the barren outlands that, I mean, surround Junkertown. They've got nothing in the tank so far. They're going up against Rally, Flux, and Bongo as well. With 1 minute 22 left, if they can just win with Rally and Flux, then they're going to have Bongo to be able to hypercharge some of these ultimates as well. This comp, this double shield, Snowball's ultimate is so incredibly hard, but once you get advantage, you can literally go to the races and never look back. But Carnage, they still need to play the game, they still need to execute with these ultimates, so that really is a skill test for them. They need to not get picked off and really play around the fact that they've got such a big advantage if they play it correctly.
Nick finds another one. Nick has been popping off in a big way on this Cassidy tonight. And Silvertall does take down Ravage, so there's a few kills coming in the favor now of Carnage. But the Flux did not find anything here. Apollo trying now to find, big rock there. Actually does get Midnight, and Carnage again is going to hold. 35 seconds left, Jace. And it looks like Carnage is pretty firmly, again, in the driver's seat here.
They made some really good swaps, actually. Often this map can be so decided by ultimates and snowball, but the H key seeming stronger than the Q key here. They make some great swaps over, then they get the ultimates that they need to beat this composition, and now they're really hard to displace. You need ultimates like Chief's Dragon. That's really the only way they can win this fight, or miracle picks like that. Dab Master goes down, that's going to be unresable. It's Nunu covers, but it's 10 seconds left. Nunu has to live and touch the payload. Oh, such a good death, actually, for Carnage here. That's a great pick.
That's a great kill there from Carnage. And Carnage is going, we got the Deadeye coming in now. Nick finding Silver Talls as well. And Carnage, again, they just find these clutch kills and these big opening pickoffs, and it just appears to be consistent throughout the night here. A kill now on the Ravage is going to buy perhaps maybe one additional touch, but it does not actually. And Carnage with a good hold here, but all in all, if you're sitting right now in the shoes of Billings Boomers, that's not a bad push.
No, it's not the worst in the world. It's definitely snowballable. It's 100% doable. It's winnable. You would be happy about someone saying winnable in the team VC if you're there, because it absolutely is. On the flip side, though, that was a lot better from. I mean, Dabmaster and Nick. Nick was pretty good on the Tassity. They made some great swaps as well. Kip has also quietly been, I think, the second best player for Carnage this entire night behind Gap. And now that Gap has gone out, Kip is really stepping up and shining for their team. Great job on the Baptiste. Dusty going over to the bridge as well made him pretty much unkillable. The only thing he ever really would die to and could die to would be a miracle Jonak volley from Silvertolls or a headshot that came in from Chief, and as much as this Hanzo can shoot logs, and we've seen it shoot logs time and time again in Overwatch's history, on yet pierce through walls, and Kip is playing hard cover really well, in particular playing behind the shields of Apollo and Ravage as well, that helped benefit him to be so aggressive. Be interested to see how Kip and Dusty's damage numbers match Chief and Tamori's. Actually, that's something that I wish we could look at, so I'd be really interested to see how that match up, because it felt like Kip and Dusty were actually outlaying so much damage that map, and now they have attacking hold. They're going to get a chance to be even more aggressive. They'll see, because when you have something like snipers, your damage is intermittent and it's sporadic. When you've got Kip and Dusty, they're going to put out so much regular damage, and well, the rest of this double shield comp, it's got to fill the gaps in the holes that these snipers make, and so far, Carnage are doing that really well.
Carnage doing a really fantastic job with that, no question about it. Apollo sitting on the high ground. Oh, what a hook! What a hook for Midnight! And look at that. I mean, Midnight has been, it's been interesting. The Hog has been so feast or famine for Midnight so far. That was a heck of a hook, but they don't find any kill with it. But it's, you know, if you're Apollo right now, that's got to be a bit of an eye-opener. You did not expect that.
It's a wake-up call, absolutely. Midnight needs to get on the flanks and hit more of these to give Boomers a real chance of winning this. Good pick. Midnight, there we go. Things look good.
Midnight found another one there on the Gusty. And again, Billings Boomers now, that Roadhog hit, again, it's so feast or famine, but right now they are, that looks weird. That looks like it lagged there on the connection. I don't know what exactly happened. You know, it's Hog. Hog is such a character. It's such a fun character.
Well-balanced hero, I think, nonetheless. I mean, any pick that the Billings Boomers are going to get with this Roadhog, they will easily take, whether it's well-designed and intended or not, because, I mean, the enemy team, this Carnage team, they're on a pick-based composition, and they're getting out-picked by the Hog. So say that. There we go, Nick fires back, kills the Widow of Tamori.
With the Widow of Tamori down, which means Nick can free shoot for a little bit here, waiting for Tamori to get back on their feet. Dabmaster at very close range to the ulting Roadhog, which is a very dangerous spot. But nonetheless, it works out with 4 HP. Dabmaster manages to survive. And the push is now on for Carnage here, just barely, as they're starting rounding the corner. Ravage taken very low before they can get the shield down on the ground.
What did we see at the What is this kill feed?
I'm not really sure what's going on here, Jace. I'm very confused.
We ignore and move on. That's going to be a great cancel from Midnight. Unfortunately, his whole Hog, his take a breather, gets cancelled. So that puts him at risk. Carnage here, though, they're around the final corner for this payload. Point A is very pushable. Apollo fans too.
Yeah, Apollo has set himself up nicely. He's now found a third. Apollo doing a great work here on this Sigma, closing out these fights as Midnight does drop on the point. And the final one to fall is the Wrecking Ball and the Tracer. And again, Carnage now sitting with a favorable situation on attack. About 4 minutes to go here. setting themselves up for a very high potential push here. But second point can be really challenging at times.
It can. They've got some good comps to be able to take space. Sorry, some good ultimates to be able to take space. They've got the comp to do it. And I think most importantly, Mushroom gives up Rally in that all-important fight. Popped Rally and basically insta-died to Apollo. Rally, I don't think we need to state how important of an ultimate it is and how fight-winning and game-winning it can be. And once that's done, it's going to be such good news for Carnage now as they get into a very tricky point. They've got to go against these high grounds, this angle, and so far Carnage, they're pushing it uncontested. Really, Boomers, they need to respond quickly here.
Boomers do need to respond right away, but they haven't, and unfortunately Carnage is in a very favorable spot here, probably looking at only one fight right now for the Boomers to try to hold off here, and that's going to be a tough situation for them, no question about it. The ultimate now from Midnight is going to isolate Dabmaster, but Midnight is down, so 1-for-1 trade, and that does not work out in the favor. Both tanks are now down for the Billings Boomers as they continue to try to hold off Carnage. Nick right now on that high ground, pushing. There's Chief going down again, and the Boomers they're just kind of getting these long staggered out fights, and they are just not working in their favor. It's been a consistent theme throughout the night here, Jace.
Yeah, I think Carnage have been way more decisive. Midnight going on the flanks is what they need, but the timing is not syncing up with the rest of his team. The rest of his team need to go in to allow the off-handles to come through, and Carnage have, whilst they've definitely been more proactive, great shot from Dabmaster, jiggles the corner peak perfectly. Carnage right now, they're playing a reactionary style game. They're sort of just waiting for the ultimates to come up. They're waiting for the off-handles. They're waiting for their own cooldowns. And whilst they are still being proactive, the decisions that they're making aren't forced. They are natural. They are pretty easy. Boomers are really letting them off the hook here and giving them all of the resources, time, and space, more importantly, they need. And I mean, Dabmaster and Nick have been on fire so far this map, and with the space they're getting right now, it's so illegal. Nunu and Midnight, I think in particular, need to do a better job of smothering this DPS, because otherwise, I mean, 3 minutes, they need to push it basically around point B. Once again, Carnage really have to do something miraculously bad to throw this.
And right now, Nick, it did find the kill on Tamori here, and again, the kills just continue to swing in Carnage's favor. Dabmaster with the ultimate clearing off the high ground as Midnight not able to eat that Dragon Strike there. Dabmaster finds a second, and now Carnage and Dabmaster leading the way here for them as they continue to push through here. We might be looking at last fight already for the Billings Boomers. They got to hold this off. They got 3 minutes of holding time, and Jace, that's going to be tough.
3 minutes into a rally as well is so hard. I just want to point out how different the main times have been. Nunu has been so smothered this map, but Ravage, everything his team is shooting, he is halting, making it so easy for these Carnage DPS to hit, alongside Tip and Dusty as well to generate those ultimates. They find the all-important resources. Midnight goes down. This could be the series for Carnage.
It could very easily be the series for Carnage. Great kills there from Carnage, and they look to slow it down. Or look to speed it up here and finish off the entirety of Billings Boomers. And Carnage dominant here on Junkertown, and they take this match 3-1, improving their record to 4-0 this season.
Still unbeaten. They don't even take the Boomers to the retirement home. They take them to the slaughterhouse. They were meat grinded that entire map. Such a good performance from Carnage, in particular on this map. And it was something that, I mean, I'll see. You know, you guys know the storylines better than me. You guys know the key players, but they played that map without Gap, and Gap was instrumental in the first 2 map wins for Carnage. They took him out for that map. They still looked equally as impressive. That double shield composition was methodical. It was systematic. Almost every ultimate, every key cooldown they used, they comboed with an Orisa Holt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just double shield 101. They played it to the book. They played it by the letter. And they ran out of the building with it. They fly away from Junkertown. They get out of the Outback with a quick 3-1 to end the series. And honestly, great job to Carnage. Good luck to them next week. For Billing Boomers, though, honestly, they played well. There was times where I think mechanical differences, mostly I think macro decisions came down, but you can clean that up with a VOD review or two. So it's not all doom and gloom. They've got some great players on that team, Billing Boomers, that we know. Chief, that I saw today with Silver Tools. Midnight as well was actually a menace on that Hog just needed his team to push in. Billings Boomers, yeah, they'll be fine.
Billings Boomers will be just fine. You know, the big criticism of Carnage so far this season has been, who have they played of significant note? You know, Billings Boomers were looked at as really their first and potentially only real test of stage 1 here, and they answered the call despite a slow start. You know, they came out, they finished off those 3 maps, and in some cases very decisively. especially on that Junkertown push for Carnage. Carnage did a fantastic job closing this one out here. And for me, my standout player tonight, I have to probably just go ahead and give the shout out. I think it's just Gap. I think Gap clutched out so many close There's so many close maps tonight, despite Junkertown not playing, that being the most decisive one. I think Gap was the reason why Carnage was able to clutch out those 2 middle maps and end up swinging this one in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Gap was a major player in how they went. One thing I will say as well is quick shout out to, if I could just look at the supports one more time for the roster for Carnage, please. I think they've left the lobby anyway. But the supports for Carnage, quietly very impressive, and in particular Ravage. It's something that it can often get overlooked, right? Thank you, Prod. So Dusty there as well, he was great all series. Dusty and Kip were so good on that Brig Zen, on that Bat Zen combo, that Bat Brig combo. The main tank Ravage, it's something that you can get laughed at for being a good Orisa player almost, but every time, like, he was in the right positions, his shields were good and aggressive, they were with intent. Every ult he had, there was a meaning and there was an intent behind it. He was looking for cooldowns or looking to combo ultimates with his DPS. And I mean, at this level, when you're playing a double shielded composition like that, it starts with your Orisa and it ends with your DPS. And if you're setting yourself off on a good foot, you're just going to end up winning fights that you shouldn't, and you're going to shut down fights that are potentially losable because you generate picks with this composition that, as I said, start with your Orisa ult. So great job from Ravage. He showed off on the Reinhardt. He was flashy on the Reinhardt. Showed a little bit of the Wrecking Ball as well. But when it came down to it, he needed to do a job for his team. He pulled out the Orisa and did an absolute fine example. Was perfect work there. So, I mean, that's not something you can say about many main tanks, particularly when I'm looking at his SR as well. I believe he's just under 3,400. So, I mean, that's so good from Ravage to be able to just go off the Reinhardt, go off the dominant sort of Chad Giga carry pick, and then go on to something more supportive and do equally an excellent job, because particularly around a mid-diamond, a lot of Reinhardts, a lot of main tank players, really struggle with finding the balance between the carry styles, the Winston, the Reinhardt, and the more supportive ball and Orisas. Both, pretty much a lot of them don't really have both either to that skill level.
Absolutely. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here tonight, guys. We again 3-1 in the favor of Carnage. Make sure you stay tuned again tomorrow. We have another fantastic matchup coming your way. That is the Discord tier feature match that's between Oreo Fleet and Hammerhead. Following that, we'll have the Beat Drop interviewing several members of the community. Next week as well, make sure to tune in on Monday for the Iris podcast, and again next Tuesday. On Monday also you have Predicting Tranquility, and then next Tuesday we got 2 features. On the EU side, we got EU Scrimbucks taking on Snubble Gold, and we have Steam taking on Frost Nova here in the NA side in the evening over in North America. But for Jace, I am Mr. Yeti, and a quick shout out to Booth sitting on production as well tonight for the fantastic work done, of course, as well. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we hope to see you again real soon.
Bye.
Thank you.